fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. For reasons unknown, he tweeted a volley of criticism of digital currencies. He said they are not money. They are highly volatile and can facilitate unlawful activity. And as for Libra, which is the virtual currency Facebook says it's launching, the president said it would have little standing or dependability. The US dollar, he says, will always be the most dominant currency in the world. My next guest tweeted in response, "Can't buy better publicity than this." Michael Casey is cryptocurrency.
Good to see you,
What did you
Richard.
mean by that?
Well, I mean, look, first of all, if you think about Bitcoin from its price perspective and where lots of people at the moment in its life are focused on, they're treating it as, let's call it digital gold, right? It's a vehicle for hedging against political risk, essentially, and owning it as a speculative asset in that regard. Here's a politician who's basically laying out the fact that there's political risk. He's putting it on the table. Everyone's talking about it. It's good for the whole conversation around Bitcoin.
And I was surprised with Jerome Powell yesterday, specifically said when asked, you know, did Bitcoin present a systemic risk? He said, not at the moment. It's like people are using it like gold.
Right. So you've got a perfect storm, right? You have Jerome Powell reminding people that it is a speculative asset that's a store of gold. And all these people who've treated gold as a way to protect themselves against the likes of Donald Trump, and I don't mean Donald Trump specifically, I mean literally against governments, have now been told by the leader of the most important central bank in the world that this is, in fact, a vehicle you can use.
Listen to what he said. Listen to what that leader of the most important central bank in the world said.
Libra raises a lot of serious concerns, and those would include around privacy, money laundering, consumer protection, financial stability, and those are going to need to be thoroughly and publicly assessed and evaluated before this proceeds. I think one of the notable features of the project is that the supervision and regulation of it would fall in front of many different agencies, state, national, and international, and we need to get our arms around that for starters.
Why does Libra present these problems more so than, say, Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, for one, it is going to be having a KYC system, which is to say it's going to be identifying people who are participating in the process. There are entry points into it with dollars, right? So right now, even if you are a Bitcoin wallet provider and you are somebody who is, or an exchange, you are on-ramping people in the US or in India or wherever you happen to be, you have to deal with local authorities for that part where the on-ramp from dollars into Bitcoin exists, right? He's talking about a global network that's doing this on multiple levels, and so he's thinking about multiplying on many terms the existing issues that exchanges face. But Bitcoin itself, underneath it, isn't necessarily very regulated.
Regulation, or, I mean, they're trying to hold back the tide in the sense of they know they've got to do something, but let's be blunt. Cryptocurrencies are not going to go away. It's not a question of their existence, it's a question of how you regulate.
Absolutely. The idea that you could hold back something that now has 50 million users around the world, that has just countless different developers developing on, that has a massive, enormous network of computers running behind it. I mean, this is unstoppable code, essentially, because nobody controls it. That's precisely why you can't stop this.
You can have a gold, you can have a Bitcoin or a crypto, or you can have the real thing, fiat, backed by "In God We Trust." Which are you going to choose?
Well, I mean, let's be clear. In God we trust, or in math we trust. There's various ways you can spin this. At the end of the day, all money is a fiction, right? All money is a story we tell each other, and if it happens to be a more appropriate one